another episode of Big Dress Energy, the podcast with me, Shakayla Forbes-Bell, your favorite fashion psychologist. This is not your regular fashion podcast. This is all about the deeper meaning behind style, aesthetics, beauty. And I'm so excited because in this episode, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty about your undergarments. I think this is something that we all maybe take for granted, or maybe don't really think about quite often outside of certain contexts. But with these two guests, we're definitely going to understand more, and I'm sure it's going to impact the way you look at that knicker drawer in the future. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my first guest. We have Katie Weir. Okay, so Katie has over 16 years experience in the lingerie industry. She has created revolutionary marketing campaigns in the fuller bust lingerie industry. Her PR career has seen her featured on Lorraine and Steph's Packed Lunch as a lingerie expert, and she has sent bras to Kim Kardashian, Madonna, Beyonce, and so many more, me as well. And she regularly works with UK household names including Alison Hammond, Josie Gibbon, and Lad Baby Mom to ensure the perfect fit for every occasion. Katie's main mission in her life and career is to offer bra fitting education for all in the media and across social platforms and in-person events. Boob love is big for Katie. Thank you so much for joining us, Katie.
Thank you for having me.
And next we also have Ade Hassan. So Ade is the founder of Nubian Skin. Before we get into this bio, I just want to have a quick personal story about Ade. I don't know, you're probably not going to know this, right? When I was first starting in fashion psychology, I was so nervous. God, I must have been about 18 or something like that. And Ade was at this event, and I didn't have anyone to go with. None of my friends really interested in fashion at the time. And that was the first event. I was like, right, I'm going to go by myself. I went by myself. Ade was speaking. I learned so much. And that was the first time I asked a question. And I met so many great people, and Ade answered my question. And I went home and I was like, yes, I did it. And then a few months later, when I was doing my blog, when I was doing it, like, it was very hacky and just like, oh, it was just so like small fry. But Ade did an interview with me, and you were like one of the first like big people that gave me a chance and gave me a shot. And I don't think you realize like how much that meant for me. Like, that meant so much. And yeah, it's just been an amazing, like, you've we're one of the people who've been there at the start of my journey. So it's like a full circle moment right now.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that makes me feel so happy. And we
Yeah.
like this is
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so this is a really special one for me. But anyway, back to the bio. So Ade is the founder of Nubian Skin, a lingerie and hosiery brand specializing in nude undergarments for women of color. Nubian Skin managed to do something that had an impact beyond itself. Redefining nude and making the term more inclusive meant that Nubian Skin has had a huge influence with many parts of the industry, realizing they needed to be more inclusive. To further commemorate her contribution, Ade received an MBE from Prince William and has continued to shake the fashion industry. So thank you so much for joining us, Ade. I'm really excited to have you both. Before we get stuck in, I have to ask you the famous question I ask everybody. What does Big Dress Energy mean to you? And I'll start with you first, Katie.
For me, it's actually quite spiritual. I feel like every time I put on an outfit that gives me just that big dress energy, it's like a connection and just everything aligns. Like, if you know you're putting on an outfit that fits, that's perhaps bright, that just is the personification of like you and what you're putting out to the world, then it just feels like emotional and amazing, and everything comes together. So yeah, I spend a lot of money on clothes. I love putting outfits together. I love sparkle, fluff, and bright colours. So I don't think you can fail but have big dress energy when that's your wardrobe, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely not. I love the spiritual aspect to it too. I do think that clothing can be quite healing, and yeah, I love that you mentioned that. And what about you, Ade? What does big dress energy mean to you?
So Big Dress Energy to me is all about self-expression. And I'm Nigerian, I'm Yoruba. And one of the big things that we do in Nigeria is like, if there's an event, you know, like everybody gets their clothing tailored, and like people show up. And a lot of times if you're wearing Ashrabe, like it's all the same cloth, but people have their own tailors and they have their own designs. And nothing makes me think of Big Dress Energy more than seeing like, you know, family aunties, like whatever, just showing up,
showing out. Yeah.
Like, what they're wearing, because they're just like, yeah, like this is who I am. Like, take it literally.
Yeah, literally. Like, they take it seriously.
Energy means to me.
Oh, thank you so much. So Ade, I want to start with you. Can you tell us more about your journey to starting Nubian Skin? Because what I can remember, you didn't come from like a super creative background, right?
Oh no,
Mm.
exact opposite.
Yeah,
um,
tell us how you started.
as a person, I've always been creative, but my background was in finance, and so very, very,
Hmm.
very corporate, which I loved, and it was an amazing part and chapter of my life.
Hmm.
But I always knew that I did want to start my own business, and I wanted it to be something that was more creative. And I wanted it to be within the fashion industry because I love fashion. And I thought I would go into accessories. But I remember
Mm.
sitting at my desk one day and I took a year off to do consulting, which actually was not the right path for me. But
Mm.
while I was at this consulting job, I remember just being like, oh, I just can't find a nude bra. And I was like looking online, and obviously you go into shops and there's nothing. And I just kept searching and searching and searching, and literally nobody sold a nude bra that would work for my skin. And it was literally like a switch went on, and I went, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a company that's going to have nude tights, nude bras, nude undergarments for women of color, because nobody's doing it and I need it.
Yeah.
And that was the genesis of the idea. And then it was a bit longer to actually make it come to fruition, but that it was born out of my own frustration and wanting to have something which I felt I should have.
I think that's so relatable. I know a lot of like millennial women, I think women our age, we have all had a story of that, like wanting to even find like a nude tights, like yeah, nude underwear, and nude is just was seen as so restrictive. And now it's like I think you were really at the forefront of, changing this. Like I always tell like my niece and my younger cousins, like you don't know how good you have it. Like you don't know the struggles that we had before. They don't know how good they have it, that they have this level of inclusivity when it comes to their clothing, and it just makes them feel like they're not being othered, like every nude is meant for them too. And I think that's so important personally, just as you like navigate through life. And Kate as well, Katie, sorry, I wanted you to tell me a bit more about your background. So what led you to your interest into becoming a lingerie expert? Not really a traditional career path, really. Like what's your background?
For me, it all started with my own boobs and
Yeah.
that journey of having boobs at the age of 11,
Yeah.
growing up in the Cotswolds, which was very remote, and just not really having the education or the knowledge around me to understand what I do with these boobs that I have, and how best to support them. So my journey started with a terrible bra fitting, one that I walked away from crying for a week because they put me in a conical shaped bra that came up to my collarbones. I was age 15 and I just said to mum, if this is being a woman, I don't want it. Like I don't want it. This is what bras look like it's not for me. And they put me in a 38 double D, and I just walked out with like zero hope of being a curvy girl and what that meant for my future. So I did a lot of research from that moment onwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to quickly turn my Teams off as well because it keeps on popping up. Right.
Yeah, go.
So I did a lot of research into brands that catered for what I thought I was, a 38 double D at the time. And I realised it was a real big sort of double D plus market that wasn't on the high street, that was mainly online. So I just put myself out there for work experience, and I started working for Freya, and that was kind of when I was 18, and they taught me so much about lingerie. And I went from having this terrible bra fitting with a tape measure in a high street retailer that put me in the wrong size to someone bra fitting me by sight and just looking at me and saying, you're a 32G, and me putting on that 32G and crying again, but with happy tears, because I couldn't believe that my boobs were so uplifted. I felt so comfortable. And that for me was a real turning point of, I want every person that wears a bra to feel this good. And I think I have the power to do that because I know what's wrong and what makes people sad. And I know how to make it fun and exciting. So kind of that was where my journey started.
Oh, I love that you make it like, yes, like you said, fun, exciting, because I think for many women, like the idea of bra fitting, it can be a bit daunting. And there's this data I want to tell you guys about from Boot Avenue. It found that 81% of women are wearing the wrong bra size. I'm definitely in that percentage where I was before I met you, Katie. I think I was walking around for a long time in like double D's, in F's. I did go to get measured, and I found sometimes it was a bit like impersonal, and like the fitters were like, yeah, I think that's fine, like, do you feel fine? Yeah, okay, that's it. And then it wasn't until I went to where did I go, to John Lewis, and I took, like, it was like half an hour, and the woman there, she like really like was making me try on different bras, and I think that helped. And then I went to you, Katie, and you looked at me and you were like, no, you're a G. And I remember being like, oh my god, a G, like that's so far in the alphabet. You don't see that. But Katie, can you just tell us a bit more about like the significance of wearing a bra that fits properly, and why do you think fit is so crucial to people?
Is that for me?
Yes, you, Katie.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, for sure. I think wearing a correctly fitting bra is so important, not only to kind of your physical health, but also your mental health and your confidence. As I said at the start of this, being a young woman with big boobs held me back in so many ways, because I didn't participate in sport. I didn't think I could wear that dress because of my big boobs. And in the grand scheme of things, now I work in D to K, my boobs aren't even that big. So, there's women who are much further down that spectrum. And I think the importance of wearing a perfectly fitting bra is feeling like you're not wearing a bra at all. And that comes from ensuring you have the right cup size and the right back size. Double D is such a known size. And for so many years, double Ds in the media have been portrayed as huge. She's flaunting her double Ds. She puts her double Ds on display. It was almost like, well, it sounded great in a headline, so let's keep saying these women have double Ds. When in actual fact, especially someone like Katie Price, who I grew up with, she was a 28K. She was never a double D. But people would look at her and think, my boobs are not as big as her, so I can't be a double D. And they would stay in their C cups, in their B cups. So, the power of perfectly fitting underwear comes from getting the right fit, but knowing what that looks like, because as you said, you can go and get a bra fitting, but if it still doesn't feel right, what is it? What makes that bra fit you? Well, it's ensuring that your underwires aren't digging into any breast tissue. It's making sure that your back band is supporting you with 80% of the support, and that your straps aren't digging into your shoulders or bearing all the weight of your bust onto your shoulders, because that in turn is going to affect your posture. It's going to affect how your clothing sits. I worked in a luxury high street retailer at university, and after I learned about bra fitting, women would say, these dresses are terribly made, like the darts are all in the wrong place. And I'd be like, eek, I think it's your boobs. Don't have a bra fitting, get a good fitting bra and try that dress back on. And the difference it made, just lifting the bust and putting it in a place where you feel comfortable, but you also feel confident, makes all the difference. And it's not all about having your boobs with lots of cleavage and up in your face. It's about lifting that weight off your shoulders physically, mentally, and emotionally. So
no, it's so true. I know that women have said, like, just wearing a correctly fitting bra has made them drop a dress size. And, like, looking better is important, but the physical aspect, I think you mentioned, is so important too. I will admit to you guys, there was a time when my bra was killing me so much. I was in the office at work. I had to go to the bathroom and take it off, because it was like, I cannot focus on my work with these straps digging in and my back like killing me. Like, it's so important that we have experts like you to really like guide women or guide people who wear bras, and understand how it's so important for not just how you look, for your well-being.
And again, I'm sure you probably feel this, but the media has given us these memes of like, come back home, take off your bra, put your hair up. Comfort is not wearing a bra. And we are made to think, well, bras are uncomfortable. But no, it's an ill-fitting bra that's uncomfortable. And we're fighting that on a daily basis. Like, it's not all bras.
Honestly, I actually, funnily enough, when I started Nubian Skin, I had never had a bra fitting. And I remember at the very beginning, before we launched, I hated bras. Like, I hated the way they fit, because they gave me, I feel like they gave me heartburn. And when I met the consultant who I worked with at the beginning of Nubian Skin, she was like, have you ever had a bra? She's like, what size bra do you? And I was like, oh, a 32A, and I hate bras. They're so uncomfortable. And she just laughed at me. She was like, come with me. And I went and had my first professional bra fitting. And they said, you're a 28D. First of all, I didn't know a 28 existed. And secondly, I was like, a D cup? Are you kidding me? Because as you say, Katie, in the media, a D cup is supposed to be huge, and I'm not huge. And that's when, I sort of understood the relationship between the band and the cup and what that meant and capacity. And I remember when I finally put on this bra, I just went, oh, I was like, I have boobs. I have boobs. Like they just, because they were lifted.
Yeah.
And they weren't, it wasn't uncomfortable anymore. And it wasn't one of those things where I ran home and wanted to get it off because it fit. And so I think it's amazing that you make it accessible and fun, Katie, because it's just so important for comfort, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not just a case of getting the right size, but it's putting the bra on correctly as well that makes all the difference. So, we all put our jeans on, we might do a little bum shimmy, we tuck our pockets in, we do up the zip, we do up the button, we give our bum a little slap. Like, put your bra on and think about it. Don't just put it on and walk out the door. Bring the breast tissue in from the side, lift it upwards, ensure it's encapsulated, tighten your straps so much so that they're just giving your boobs an extra oomph. Be conscious of what hook you've put the back band on, because if it's a brand new bra and you've just put it on the tightest hook, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Make sure it's on the loosest hook. Tighten it up as you wash and wear. Just, like I said at the start about spirituality and putting clothes on, I very much feel like putting underwear on should be a ritual. It's your moment in the morning. It's the first thing you put on. Put that underwear on, respect your body, love your body, and really take that time to kind of also get to know your boobs as well. That's a massive part of our bodies. So touch, feel them, get them into that bra and give them the love and respect that they deserve.
I love that, Casey. And it's almost like, you're describing like such an intimate and almost like profound experience. And Ade, I want to come to you because I know there's going to be people out there who think, oh, like your underwear is hidden, right? Like no one's really seeing it. So how much of an impact is it going to have on you? But can you tell us a bit more like what you feel the impact that underwear has on us?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, it's the first thing that you put on, right? It's the thing that goes next to your skin. So you want it to be comfortable. I mean, it's the closest thing you have to your skin. So it needs to be, it's so important. It's like building a house, right? You have to have the proper foundations before you put anything on top, because otherwise it's not going to be, it will fall, right? And so underwear are foundations. The right underwear, the right fit means that whatever you wear is going to look better, and also you're going to feel better because it's comfortable.
Yes.
And secondly, for me, obviously, sometimes specializing in nudes, sometimes it's seen and sometimes it isn't. But probably to Katie's point about having that little ritual and celebration of self in the morning, for me, all our color, I spent a year and a half perfecting our colors because I wanted them to work so well for melanated women. And when you put that on in the morning, it's a celebration of your melanin, right?
Yeah.
Like you put it on and you were just like, yes, like bless my melanin. Like, and so for me, when I put on Nubian Skin, when I put on my underwear, it's also just a celebration of me and everything that my skin color means to me.
Oh, I think that's so powerful. And we touched on this earlier about nude being seen as, just for like lighter or like white skin, and how that can serve to a lot of people. So with your creation, with Nubian Skin, how do you feel like the inclusivity of nude in undergarments, how do you think that's impacted the self-esteem of your customers?
So obviously when I created Nubian Skin, I did it because I wanted it. I knew that there would be other women that wanted it, but I was really just pissed off that I couldn't find something that I needed. But once we launched, it was amazing getting emails and messages from young women, right? Like women, I remember, I'll never forget, it was very early on, this woman or young lady was a student. She was like, I live in Wales. There's not very many people who look like me around. And I'm saving up to find my first Nubian Skin bra because you made me feel seen. And I just thought, oh my goodness, like this is more than just having the right color bra to under a white or sheer top. This is helping her, to your point about feeling othered. She felt like she mattered. And at the other end of the spectrum, getting emails. I remember this one lady, she was like, I'm 60 years old. She lived in America. She was like, I'm 60 years old, and this is the first time in my whole life that I found tights that match my color. And she was like, I just want to say thank you.
Oh.
That, you know, it's people being seen.
Yes.
And that's so incredibly important. And I think if you haven't felt othered, it's very hard to understand exactly how important that is.
Definitely. And yeah, I've done this research. Like, I remember this was something I really looked into when I was doing my master's, and I interviewed a lot of Black women, and they said, you know, if something is seen as the standard and you're not part of the standard, then you just feel like, yeah, maybe I'm not cool, or maybe I'm not like prioritized, and then you internalize that. So it could be someone might just say, oh, it's just a pair of undergarments, just some tights, but it just means so much more, even if we're not like cognizant of it. And I just love how passionate you guys are about undergarments, but I just know there are probably people listening who are still wearing like 3-year-old knickers with like holes in them, and you know, there's just something that they only like maybe would consider when they're in like a romantic setting, or like, you know, when someone else is going to see it and it's not really for them, it's for someone else. And I want to come to you, Katie, about that. Like, why do you think people have this misconception about underwear that it doesn't really matter, you just have to throw it on? Like, and how do you think people do feel when they are actually investing in their undergarments?
I think it's exactly that. We've touched upon it. It's not seen, so it doesn't matter. But also around that intimacy, just in terms of going to get a bra fitting, but also in terms of the taboo around talking about lingerie, about talking about boobs. It's not really a generalized conversation that we have. But the minute one of our friendship groups starts talking about it, everybody opens up, and all of a sudden we want to know, where does she get her bra fitting? Where did she get that bra that makes her boobs look so good? But it's just not a day-to-day conversation. And it's not something that the media kind of write about. The Grazia don't do a bra column every week, but they do a dress column, and it's kind of always secondary to the main outfit, when actually, as we've spoken about, it's the foundation to every outfit you put on. But for some reason we think we can have the same bra for 10 years, but we can wear 100 dresses over the top. And it just comes with that education. It's all around, we don't talk about it enough, but the minute we're educated, we don't forget. So ensuring that through social media, there's voices like myself, there's brands like Nubian Skin that can talk about not only amazing skin tone bras and bra styles and shapes, but how long should you have your bra for? How should you put on a new bra? How should you look after your bra? And I think that's the most amazing part about social, is we can get the word out there much easier. And I think that we have also fallen into a trap of molded t-shirt bras being a go-to because of nipples. A lot of us are scared of our nipples showing. Again, that comes on society saying that we're sexualizing. And I have to say thank you, Kim Kardashian, for the nipple bra, because I feel like she actually took that power back and said, you know what? If we want to show our nipples, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it, and we're going to be proud. So yeah, I think the t-shirt bra is something that we've just always seen as a go-to, when actually, if you get bra fitted in a side support non-padded bra, you can get some of the best shape you'll ever see with your bust, and you can wear that under so many outfits. It looks great under a high neck chunky knit jumper, just as it does a thin t-shirt. But we just don't understand bra shapes and what they can do for us because we're not told as well as we should be. So yeah, I think there's definitely more education to be done. And also that ambiguous size range, that kind of, like you're saying, that C cup, that B cup that probably should be in Fs, and they're kind of not educated on bra sizes or what shapes can do for their bust either. So I think it's just continual work. It's exciting. There's a lot to do. But yeah, word of mouth, getting conversations started and opening them up will only help people wear better fitting bras.
That's true. And I think, yeah, definitely the conversations need to move away from almost being sexualized. And I think the reason, yeah, why a lot of women feel that they have to wear these kind of slouchy bras that don't actually show off their curves is because they're thinking about that external opinion. They're thinking about, you know, not like the male gaze and like dressing for that. And I think that's what you guys are stressing, that it's for you. It should be a very personal experience. And I know, like, when I wear like a matching set, and I've been single for a long time, so it's always been for me. But I just feel better. You know, it makes me feel like, yeah, like I'm doing something special, and it doesn't have to, like with clothes, it shouldn't always be about what other people are thinking. It should be about how you're feeling and the impact that it's having on you. And Katie, I wanted to ask maybe a bit personally, like, what's your favorite like type of undergarment to wear? Or do you have a favorite piece that you just wear it and it just brings you that joy?
Oh my goodness, I'm actually wearing it right now. And it's a bodysuit. It's like a cup-sized bodysuit, and it's faux leather with a sheer bottom half, a cute little Brazilian bum that makes my bum look great. The faux leather snatches me in at the waist. It's a plunging bra. Like, it's just giving. And every time I put that piece on, whether that's underneath a slim-fitting dress, or if I'm wearing it with jeans and a jacket and showing it off, I just always feel amazing. And I think for so long, especially full of us girls, we've had to kind of put ourselves in these small, medium, large bodysuits and never quite found the fit. It might look good from the front, but not the side. So to have the availability across many different brands now, that kind of fuller bust, cup size, back size bodysuit options that can be worn as undergarments, foundations, but also as underwear, as outerwear, and feel supported and feel sexy is really important and kind of like innovative. It's groundbreaking that you can do that even up to a JK cup. We can now wear underwear as outerwear. How amazing.
I love that too. And Ade, I wanted to touch on what I was speaking about with Katie as well. Like, I think a lot of people think nude and then they do think sex, you know, they think, oh, you're just like trying to bear it all. Like, what would you kind of say to that?
I mean, it can be, right? Nude can be sexy, like our skin is sexy. I think, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but I also think that it's a very intimate thing, and it's just who you are, right? Like, everybody has a hue, right?
Yes.
Every single person has a hue. Everybody has their skin, and what's more amazing than feeling comfortable in your skin? And if you're comfortable in your skin, why not celebrate your skin, right? So like. And for me, I think that's why nude is so important. Literally every morning when I wake up and I put on like whatever briefs I'm going to wear, and I put on the bra I'm going to wear, and I just look in the mirror and I'm just like, I just love it. I just love my color, and I just love, like, I love color as well. You know, you can obviously get underwear in any color going, but I just love that little celebration of being like, you know what, my color just looks good. You know, and so nude is, it can be very, very many things, but for me, ultimately, it's about celebrating your skin and who you are.
Yes. And speaking about celebrations, I heard that Nubian Skin, it's not just like been in the realms of e-commerce. You have been featured in stage performances, TV shows, and we found out that you provided the foundational garments for Beyonce's Formation World Tour. Can you like just tell us about that? How did that happen? Just tell us every step. Tell us
every single detail. You know what? That was an incredible experience. But I remember it was, you know, Formation, the album had sort of dropped, and that was groundbreaking in and of itself. And then we got an email from a stylist, and I wasn't really familiar with that industry, saying, hey, we'd love you to work with us on the Formation tour, and I was like, delete it, it's a scam.
Oh my god.
Imagine that, like, I was like, we're such a small company, I was just like, no. Like, Beyonce is like a superstar, this is a scam. And so like, ignored the email, and then maybe about a day later I was like, let me just message some friends who are in that industry, you know, entertainment and styling. And I was like, hey, have you guys heard of, you know, so and so? I got an email from him about this, and one of my friends responded in like all caps, respond right now. You know exactly who that is. And so I was like, oh my goodness, if I missed this opportunity. And so I responded, I'm like, hi, you know, yes, we'd love to know more about what you want to do. And he got back and he was like, yep, this is what's going to happen. You know, these are Beyonce sizes and colors. Like, apparently she already wore the brand.
Oh wow.
you know, she was like, most of their dancers were black, and so they were like, a lot of the outfits were, if you go back and look at the formation tour, they were like cutouts and see-through and lace.
Yeah,
so it made
I
sense
was
why
there.
they would need that. And so yeah, they were like, yes, we'd love to work together. And so then that started the process of, okay, dancers, sizes, what they needed, how many pieces they needed, etc., etc. And so we did it, and then we waited because we were just waiting. The tour hadn't started yet. And then obviously, you know, she starts performing and more images are coming out. And I remember going on her website to like try and get the first glimpse of the images. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I remember like screenshotting it, putting it in an email saying, is this what I think it is? And he just responds 100%. And I just about, honestly,
Yeah.
It was an amazing moment because one, you know, Beyonce is Beyonce, and she has access to everything essentially, right? That money can buy. And to know that she, as a black woman, needed our product because we were at that point the only brand that was doing it to that quality and level. That was huge because, you know, you think about the everyday woman, and then you think about people who you just think have everything. And even somebody like Beyonce wasn't being catered to, right?
Yeah.
And so that was just an amazing thing to be part of. And then all of her dancers, and that particular tour was such a celebration of blackness. So it was amazing, again, that her team had also thought, you know what, let's we need this, but also we're finding the black-owned business that's doing it. It was incredible. And then I also didn't have tickets to the tour because they went out like that. When she was like, by the way, have you she was like, they needed to re-up for something. She was like, oh, are you coming to the concert? And I was like, no, I didn't get tickets. And so she got me VIP tickets, which was amazing. My husband and I were like, woo!
Yes.
I would retire after that. I'm sorry. How do you top that? Like, that is just such an amazing experience. I'm so happy for you. And it just, it just goes to show the lack of availability that was like, I think, just like 10 years ago. Like, it's so crazy. I remember being, like 17, going into Boots and saying, oh, can I like the shade, I can't remember which brand it was, and they were like, we just don't have it stocked. And how much change has happened is just in the last 10 years. It's so encouraging, and I think sometimes we take it for granted, but just having that level of inclusivity is just so, it's so powerful. And like you said, it does something to like the well-being and self-esteem of the everyday consumer, all the way up to the Beyonces of the world. Like, that's amazing.
And I bet Blue is wearing it now.
Yeah, probably.
Nubian skin on.
It's definitely, I think, the thing that I'm proudest of is the role that, even though we are a small company, that we completely changed the conversation around what it means in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely always cite you as being at the forefront of that. And Katie, I want to talk about your journey. Like, how did you get from, you know, doing like this kind of traditional lingerie, like advice and expert, to working with like big name celebrities and then like in the TV space? Like, maybe tell us about your first like celebrity client and what that experience was about.
So being in PR, you're constantly getting call-ins, and when you start learning about bra fitting and then you see the size that they're calling in versus the size that you know they should be wearing, consciously you're already bra fitting celebrities without them even knowing. And an amazing case of this was with Kim Kardashian. She was pregnant with North at the time, and she was wearing a strapless dress. And I just remember seeing this image of her, and she looked so sad. She did not look like the Kim we know. Her posture was super poor. Her boobs were low. She was probably about 6 months pregnant at the time. And I sent some bras to her because in contact with Jenna Communications, and they told me her measurements and they told me her bra size. And I was like, I'm going to take a big gamble here, and I'm going to send the size I think she should be wearing. So I sent all of these bras out to her. And then about 10 days later, there was an image of her getting off a flight, and she's wearing this red dress and it's plunging. And her boobs are up here, they're separated, her shoulders are back, and she's smiling. And as she's walking off the flight, just a little strap. And as you know, that's a big moment when you're like that person that sent that bra or that those tights or that pad. You just know, nobody else knows, but you know that's the bra you sent. And the difference, and just like you're saying, Annie, like, she has all the money in the world, but she still didn't wear the right size bra. She didn't have the people she probably still doesn't wear the right size bra with her brand now. Come back to me, Kim, I'll help you. But yeah, I think that for me was a huge moment of like, wow, she needed help. I offered her that help, but very subliminally, I just sent those sizes. Her stylist obviously gave them to her. She put it on. She felt great. So just little moments like that in my career where I've kind of worked with stylists, said, actually, I think you should be wearing that size. I think they should be wearing this size. Just give it a go. Let's do a FaceTime. And then those FaceTimes then turn into appointments, and they're in-person appointments. And you're getting Alison Hammond ready for the BAFTAs and getting her outfit. And then you're going to this morning to Bra Fit Loose Women because they've all realised they haven't had a bra fitting in 6 months, and they're busy women. They don't have time to go to the shops. They're also, you know, when we go into these celebrity lives, they don't want to pop into a high street retailer and have a bra fitting. So creating that intimate moment outside of the high street for them, bringing bras, fitting into someone's schedule is something I love to do, but I know that's super beneficial for them as well. And just knowing how important a foundation of a great fitting bra can be for people in the public eye who have so many different outfits to wear, who have deadlines with stylists. For me, I always want to put those people into positions where getting a bra for that occasion is super easy and super quick. So yeah, I work with a lot of stylists to ensure their clients are always in the right size bra.
That's so brilliant. And I loved how you emphasize, like, yeah, these women, we look up to them and we think, oh, they just have it all, but not necessarily true. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're women at the end of the day, and they're quite similar to us. And like you said, most of us, we put maybe our bra undergarments kind of lower on our priority list, which as we mentioned, we definitely shouldn't, because as much as I talk about clothes being our second skin, it really is our undergarments. Those, like you both said, those are the closest things to us. And something that you mentioned earlier was about, you know, like Skims. And I do realize that a lot of people are wearing these kind of like sports, but not really sports, kind of t-shirt, loosely fit bras. What's your like personal opinion on those, Katie? Because I think lots of people are living in those now.
Are we talking like bralettes, like non-wired?
Yeah,
bralettes,
like bralettes. Like
that?
I have to admit, I used to be a part of the Deaf to the Underwire like crew. Like I used to be a part of that, but I did hear that sometimes, like, yeah, those kind of bralettes, they're not super great, but I guess I wanted to hear your expert opinion on them.
Yeah, so I'm always an advocate for anyone. If you want to go braless because you're empowered, because you feel sexy, if you want to wear that non-wired bralette because that is the best version of you, then please go do it. Like, I am right by your side championing you. But if you're wearing these options because, like you just said, you hate underwires, you hate bras, you've never found a comfortable one, so then you kind of fall into this area of just wearing something because it's comfortable, then that is where my main issue lies. And I think as well, you know, it's the younger generation. They're wearing these very unsupportive bras. Maybe they're not thinking about what's going to happen 30 years down the line. So it is a little bit like aesthetics, I guess, you know, prevention over cure. Like, let's look after our breast tissue. Let's wear a sports bra to the gym. No matter how big your boobs are, you have breast tissue that moves. You have ligaments that you can't work like muscles. And once those ligaments start to stretch, that's when we see premature sagging. Obviously, that is an aesthetic. Sagging boobs, we all have boobs that look very, very different. But if we want to protect our breast tissue, if we want to ensure we're doing the best, then wearing a perfectly fitting bra, wearing a bra that's comfortable, that's not digging into breast tissue, is definitely going to help to maintain how your breasts look and feel. Journeys of life, boobs can change over breastfeeding, breast cancer, hormones, weight gain, weight loss. Your breasts are constantly changing. So, you know, you might just journey through life in different bras, and that's okay. Maybe it is your soft girl era right now, and then next week you'll be into your underwires. So go with what feels right for you, but just make sure that you're not, like I said, feeling like, I hate bras, so I'm going to wear this non-supportive bra that just doesn't do anything for me because I hate bras. Speak to a professional. Go look at all the amazing collections that are available. You're sure to find something that is better suited to you than that bra that you're wearing right now.
Yeah, and I like how you say like prevention's better than cure. Like, you'll probably be saving yourself like money for like a future boob job down the line, or like money in physiotherapy because you've damaged your back from wearing the wrong bra. Like, I think that's really important. Like, there's a health aspect to this, right?
Absolutely. And I think, so many of us are weighed down by breast tissue. And so many people that I've spoken to have said, I'm going to go and look at having a breast reduction. And then I'm like, but have you worn a good fitting bra for 9 months and seen how you feel after that? And they've been wearing a G when actually they should be wearing a J, and they've been wearing a bigger back size. And I actually have managed to turn a couple of clients around, because after wearing a great fitting bra, because they do wear a bra for 12 hours plus a day, they've realized, actually, like once my shoulders are back and my posture remains quite similar now once I take my bra off, because I've spent my whole day kind of doing this. Then when I take the bra off, the shoulders are still back. So it is more than just when you've got the bra on as well. It's kind of mentally, when you take that good fitting bra off, how you feel. There are occasions, obviously, where people just can't bear the weight and go and do what's right for you. But on the whole, wear a good fitting bra for 9 months, I always say. Whether you want a boob job, to make them bigger, to make them smaller, just wear a good fitting bra and see how you feel and document it, and then make a decision after that.
That is so true. And it's something that's quite personal for me as well. Like, I have scoliosis, and I have get back pain. I remember I went to get acupuncture, and the guy was like, look at how you're standing. He was like, you're standing like this, like you need to be upright. And it can be something, like you said, so simple as just wearing a proper fitting bra that can just do so much wonders. And just moving from physical health to mental health, coming to you, Ade, creating your own brand, your own business from scratch is hard. I know it's challenging, but can you tell us about maybe any hurdles that you face along the way with creating your brand? And also, how do you manage your mental health as well whilst you're doing all of this amazing work?
Yeah, of course. Right. So first question, hurdles, and then mental health. So I guess one of the biggest hurdles was creating the colors, right? So when I wanted to start the brand, I thought, okay, I know that I want to have nudes that work for women of color. And if you go to a fabric mill, they don't have multiple nudes. They have a beige nude. That's what nude is. And so that was the first biggest hurdle, was creating 4 colors that would work. And that took me a year and a half, and it was visiting makeup counters and then working with factories and perfecting colors and testing them. And so that was the biggest hurdle. And to this day, I would say that's probably one of the trickiest things. Most people, when they're starting a lingerie brand, let's say they're going to work with white, black, red, and beige nude, they can go to a fabric supplier whenever they want to do a new collection, and they say, please, can I have 50 meters of beige? Please, can I have 50 meters of black? When I go to do any new collection, working with any new fabric, I go to a fabric supplier and they say, absolutely, you need to order 1,000 meters minimum of one color. You multiply that by 4. So then that's just before you can even that's just one part, right? And then it comes to the strapping, and you've got to get, whatever, 6,000 meters of that, with however many widths you want. And so the capital outlay of running Nubian Skin is so much more than somebody who isn't thinking about catering to multiple nudes. And so that I would say, of all the obstacles, of which there are very many, that's just one that is unique to us because of what we've decided to do and what our mission is. And so that's tricky. That's just it's figuring out how to allocate resources. And then outside of that, there's just the general everyday things that you run into when you run a business. It's is my strategy correct? Is my how's my team doing? I'm blessed with an amazing team right now, but that's also been a 10-year journey. And yeah, so those are some obstacles and some challenges. And I think whenever you're targeting particularly a specific demographic, people might look at it as niche, or